All right, we're going to do it. My spring series wrap-up and my summer series TBR. And if you're new here, I do this every season where I talk about the series that I've read the previous season and what series I hope to get to in the upcoming season. It's just a fun accountability list thing for myself. I enjoy doing it. I have no idea if you guys enjoy watching it, but it gives you a good idea of what I have prioritized for the upcoming months in terms of my long series life, because that is the life of a fantasy consumer. All right, so first thing I finished was Supernova, which is the last book in the Renegade series, which I loved. Loved it, was my favorite book. This is a series where two of the main characters both have secrets from everyone, and finally, you just get to see the fallout, and I loved it. And I also finished the last set of novellas in the Inheritance trilogy. Yes, I now own a copy of the first book in the Inheritance trilogy. I just got it today. I'm obsessed. It's so pretty. Like, look, it's like this person in the back. I know the new covers are pretty, but I love the old covers, so yeah. So I finished the Inheritance trilogy. If you don't know, I love that trilogy. I have a whole review for the whole trilogy. I'll link it in the cards. It is one of my earlier videos. I still stand by everything I say in the video, but it is so good. Granted, I think Jemison can do no wrong, so I am extremely biased. If you like world building, if you like complex commentary on human nature and emotions and relationships, so good. I also read the second book in the Poppy War, so that was the Dragon Republic, and so that continues where the first book left off. The first book was its own war, the Poppy War number 2 or 3, I can't remember which one, and so this one is kind of a different war. It's more of like a civil war to some extent, and you're following our characters who are also dealing with the repercussions of their actions in the first book, and boy, do they need to think about what they've done. So yeah, I really enjoyed the character development, and I'm really, really, really excited for the next one, which comes out in the fall. So excited to eventually get to that. I probably won't get to it till winter, but it does come out in the fall, and I am so excited. And I also finished City of Miracles, which was the third book in the Divine Cities trilogy. Really good ending. I have a hard time not comparing the Inheritance trilogy to the Divine Cities trilogy, because they're both trilogies that have to do with deities and their relationships with their worlds. They're both stories about geopolitical politics just in general, and the powers and the corruptions and how it affects people. And they're both books that don't have the same point of view characters in each book and take place over multitudes of years. So it's just really interesting that I've finished both of these in such a short period of time. But both of them are really good. They're both very different. I think the plot is more fast-paced in the Divine Cities trilogies. They're more traditional murder mystery action type books, versus the Inheritance trilogy is more in the world building, it's more with the characters and the interactions, although the first book is really fast-paced. I don't know. The Inheritance trilogy is really hard to describe, but it is lovely, and you should read it. So those are the series that I caught up with or finished this last season, so I'm really happy that I actually finished things. It feels good. And now on to series that I actually continued. And so the first one of that was the Witcher series with Blood of Elves, and I am reading right now Time of Contempt, so I'm counting it for spring because it's not quite summer yet. But I have been continuing on. I have still not loved these as much as the short stories collections, but I've still really enjoyed them. It's it's really comfortable. I just enjoy the characters. I enjoy learning about the politics of this world. And I also just get really excited that I'll soon get to see Henry Cavill do all of this in a TV show. I very much appreciate Henry Cavill, okay? He is a beautiful, beautiful man. And I also continued my reread/listen of the First Law trilogy with Before They Are Hanged. It's still going good. I still enjoy it more in audio format, but I still think it's a little bit overhyped. It's good, but I guess I just don't love it as much as everybody else. And then I also continued my Wheel of Time reading with The Dragon Reborn, which is by far my favorite one so far in that series, so I'm excited to keep going with that. So these are the ones I continued, and then I started a bunch of things, because that's also the plight of a fantasy reader. You start more than you can finish. So one that I started was Gideon the Ninth, and I'm still on the fence on if I'm DNFing this series or not. I do have a sample of the first act on my Kindle for the second book. I think it might be called Harrow the Ninth. But I did read this book in the series. I did not love it, but I also didn't hate it. It has some really cool ideas. I don't know, I'm very torn about that book. I also started the Scythe trilogy. I don't actually know if it has a different name, but I read Scythe, and I am excited to get to the rest of it. I really enjoyed that YA sci-fi, and if you are super new here, you might not have heard that I've read Check Please, but if you're not new here, you know I've read Check Please, the first volume, and I'm obsessed, and it is a wonderful, wonderful thing that exists in this universe. And somehow, even though I'm in a very happy relationship, it's giving me unrealistic relationship expectations. Like, it's not fair. I also started I don't know what the name of the duology will be. I read We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal, and I really liked it. So it's a duology, and the second book comes out later, not this year, but like within 365 days from now, the next book will be out, so I'm excited about that. I also started the Killing Moon series. What is it called? The Dreamblood duology, and yeah, I really like it. But it's also by N.K. Jemisin, so are we surprised? No. In a similar vein, I also read The City We Became, which this is gorgeous, and it's a crime that I can't find any of her other books in hardback, but this is so good. If you need a happy book, well, maybe not happy, but if you want a very adventurous book with really good representation, and it's super fun, you want to read this. I love this. I gave it to my friend. They wanted a good book, so I sent them a copy because I can't stop myself. And I also read An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which is, I don't know how many books are going to be in this series, but the second book comes out next month, and the minute my library has the audiobook, I will be on that. So these are all the things I read in spring for series. And so now, what do I want to read? If you've been around for a few TBRs, you've seen this, you know I've avoided it, even though it's so small. But Second Foundation, I really need to prioritize it so I can have that finished. I also want to finish the Dreamblood duology, so I will need to read The Shadowed Sun, but I have a buddy read planned for that real soon, so it's going to happen, and I really have no excuse to wait. I also just got the audiobook for the third First Law, so Arguments of Kings, that's going to happen. I am actually reading Volume 2 of Check Please right now, and I need it so desperately. So it's giving me life. It's helping me exist in this world. And I also have The Testaments, which is kind of a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, so I'm like kind of putting it here because I also need to get to that. It's on my Kindle, and I've been meaning to read it, and I don't want to get too far away from The Handmaid's Tale before I get to that. And I also want to read Thunderhead, which is the second Scythe book. And I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do this yet, but I'm either reading Foundryside and Shorefall, because I have read Foundryside, but it's been a minute, or I'll just read Shorefall. But I did have my mom send me her copy of Foundryside, so I might just reread it. I really just want to have a good grasp of the world, because I really liked it, and I can't remember anything about the, end of that book. I remember the beginning, I remember meeting Clef, I remember a con ensues, but I can't remember, there is some crazy stuff that happens at the end that I need a refresher on. And I also want to read the Fourth Wheel of Time book, which I can't remember the name, so it'll be over here. You'll see that. And I also want to continue on reading the Witcher series, because I don't want to let too much time happen, because there's a lot of politics that seem to hold over from book to book, and I'm already having a hard time keeping up with that, so I don't want to have that go on for too long. Now, these are all series that I want to continue/finish, but now we're going to get into stuff that maybe I'll start, because again, I'm impossible. And so, Malice, this is the Faithful and the Fallen series. Been hearing great things. I guess I should read it. There's also, I think, a book club hosted by, I can't remember their name. I will link their book club in the cards down below. I know Jashana is being a co-host for it, but I'm forgetting the name of the main channel, even though I watch her channel. Anyways, I'm sorry, but I'll have that I'll have that down below. So I'm going to read Malice. I'm going to start the Percy Jackson series because it is my Sib's favorite, and there's going to be a Disney Plus show. So yeah, it also works for a lot of the readathon prompts I'm getting into for next month, so it'll be good. I also got Jade City, which is an adult fantasy book everyone's been raving about, and I know the third book comes out soon-ish. So, and this is the first one, so I'm excited that I'll be able to, like, read Jade City, read Jade War, and then be ready for the third book, because I really like, not, like, binging series, but doing it all within a concise amount of time. I also have Trail of Lightning. I can't remember the name of the author, but I know it's supposed to be really good. I read one of their short stories from Deanie's channel, and I'm like, yeah, I need to read this. So I'm excited to check this one out. I've heard good things. The next one I'm going to read is this big sci-fi series. Well, not big, but I hear it's really confusing, which makes me all excited. But it's Nine Fox Gambit. I'm pretty sure, if not, there's an image here. And then, of course, I am going to start my reread of Stormlight Archives, because I love this series. It is so pretty. I just love them. So, those are my goals. What books are you hoping to finish or start in a series this coming season? Are there any of these that you're particularly excited for me to get to? I am all ears. I just love making these videos and then seeing how good or badly I did in like 3 months' time. So like if you like it, and subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.